Leave a piece of iron out in the elements, and science tells us exactly what will happen. Oxygen and moisture attack the metal, rapidly eating away at it until nothing but brittle orange rust remains. Yet, standing right in the middle of a courtyard in New Delhi is a massive 6-ton anomaly. This is the ancient iron pillar, and despite facing 1,600 years of rain, sun, and humidity, it is entirely free of rust. For decades, this metallurgical marvel completely baffled modern scientists, defying our standard expectations for ancient engineering. But the preservation of this pillar is no accident. It is the result of highly deliberate, sophisticated choices made by its creators, the Gupta Empire. We know this because they left their mark directly on it. Ancient inscriptions carved into the metal confirm that the pillar was erected during the reign of King Chandragupta II to celebrate his achievements. To figure out exactly how these ancient metalworkers forged an indestructible monument, we first have to look at how their leaders engineered something equally resilient, a highly stable society that ignited India's classical age. By the 3rd century CE, the Kushana Empire, which had long controlled the north and northwest of the Indian subcontinent, began to collapse. This left a massive power vacuum. To fill this void, the rising Gupta dynasty avoided constant military conquest. They chose to build a web of strategic diplomacy and marriage alliances to secure their borders. A perfect example is Prabhavati Gupta. Through an alliance with the neighboring Vakataka kingdom, she acted as a regent ruler, successfully managing a vast network of tributary kings and keeping them fiercely loyal to the central empire. Because power was decentralized but tightly connected through these alliances, the subcontinent was shielded from the constant friction of regional conflicts. The Guptas secured a long, stable geopolitical peace. With the threat of constant warfare removed, that geopolitical stability quickly transformed the Gupta Empire into a global economic powerhouse. Physical evidence of their overflowing treasury survives today in the form of pristine gold coins, minted under early rulers like Chandragupta I to solidify their commercial dominance. This map shows the Indian Ocean trade network. Bold maritime routes connect Indian ports to distant markets in China and the Mediterranean. To see the supply chain's reach, we zoom in on Socotra Island, a crucial Arabian sea hub. Archaeologists have found direct evidence of Indian merchants living and trading on this remote island, discovering ancient Indian pottery and inscriptions written in the Brahmi script. We also have first-hand accounts of the booming economy back home. In the early 5th century CE, a Chinese traveler named Faxian arrived in India and carefully documented the society he found. Faxian recorded that citizens faced minimal state interference and low taxes. He observed a prosperous society where wealthy merchants funded free hospitals and charity houses, proving that the empire's vast wealth flowed directly back into the populace. With a booming economy and a populace free from constant war, citizens and the state had resources to fund a massive creative explosion. We see the results in monumental architecture, like the intricate rock-cut caves at Ajanta, where immense stupas and pillars were carved directly out of the mountainside. The Udayagiri caves in central India demonstrate a similar pursuit of aesthetic perfection, featuring elaborate stone carvings of deities that were entirely sponsored by the state. This influx of funding heavily targeted the sciences. Scholars like Aryabhata and Varamahira made massive, recorded breakthroughs in mathematics and astronomy during this time. Literature thrived simultaneously. Writers like Kalidasa composed masterpieces like Meghaduttam, elevating Sanskrit poetry to extraordinary heights. These advancements in art, science, and literature were the direct, intended outcome of a society meticulously engineered for stability and surplus. Which brings us back to the Iron Pillar of Delhi. How exactly did this creative, stable empire manage to forge a rust-proof monument? This cross-section reveals the scientific consensus. The Guptas used a forging method that allowed oxygen to react with the iron, creating a unique, microscopic film on its surface. This film effectively seals the metal, blocking incoming oxygen and water molecules from penetrating the core. The Gupta Empire's model of governance functioned exactly like this protective layer. Their careful alliances and robust trade networks shielded their culture from the corrosive chaos of war, giving their society the exact conditions it needed to cure, stabilize, and thrive. As the great Gupta poet Kalidasa wrote, "True strength in a kingdom does not come from force alone, but from the wisdom and knowledge that upholds it. The ultimate legacy of the Gupta Empire is the enduring blueprint of the classical age. It proves that a civilization's greatest achievement is the environment of tireless creativity it leaves behind.